Yes, so I'm Tionna. I am a model, and then I also kind of dabble in the arts as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just honestly figure myself out right now,
Yeah.
and but mostly modeling, and then just going in and out of like different creative things.
So you got a couple of modeling magazine spots
Yes,
coming up.
I just got published for three different magazines, and they're all online and published, so I could, print them out or, send links to everybody because I have a few features in one. I have about six features in one magazine, and it's called Prestige Models. And basically, what that is, it's a company that's all over the world that helps models get their name out there. So there's a few models from Germany, a few models from the UK, and it's just kind of all over the world. So I got six features in that, two features in legendary models, and those they picked the top 25 of which one's the best. So I was super happy to get in that just because I was like, oh my gosh, I got the last pick.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, this is something huge, and it really sparked my like something in me, like this is something so true to me. So I was so glad to get into all three, and the last one was Dreamy, and I got one feature in that magazine is pretty hard to get into.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So where's it out of?
Dreamy, it's pretty much in the United States. Legendary is different from different countries as well. So Prestige and Legendary are from all over, and then the Dreamy one is more of like United States.
So you just submitted your pictures to them, and they chose them.
Yep, they chose me.
Cool.
I was pretty shocked that I got three because it was my first time being in a magazine. I'm like, I don't know if I'll get like all these features or anything. So when I got them, it just kept coming and coming and coming. And then I was just like, oh my gosh, this is something that like really just sparked my attention. It was just like, this is something that I can do. Like, this is something I can commit to. And I loved it. So
cool. That's awesome.
yeah.
So I need to tell everybody this podcast is sponsored by Royal Dark. If you guys want to offer all your gaming needs, get it on Facebook and join Royal Dark. And they stay open until 4 a.m. in the morning, and they give away thousands of prizes every week. So give them a shout out and join up.
Yes. I love
you
Royal
play,
Dark.
right?
Yeah, I was gonna say I love Royal Dark.
Yeah.
I played for a really long time, and it really honestly helped me get up on my feet. Honestly, it made me think very methodical of my finances, and you could still make extra money while making money while doing side hustles or just your job. So it really helped with just the side things.
I tell everybody you got to have 2 or 3 incomes, or you're not doing anything.
Literally.
So I'm trying to build this podcast. We're not making much money right now, but hopefully at some point we will.
Oh, I know you definitely.
And we've been doing it for almost a year and a half now. So
that's awesome.
You've been doing your thing.
Yeah, I've been trying to get back into podcasting. I was in it a little bit, but then I kind of fell off because just a lot of things came upon me that wasn't me. So I had to kind of shut off everything to realize what's really true to me or not. So I'm starting back up my podcast. Hopefully in January.
That's cool.
Yes,
hopefully I can help you with that.
Yes, I'm super excited just because I feel like that's something true to me, because there was a lot of fake things going on and I didn't really realize until I shut everything off, and I'm like, okay, what's true to me? And so that's
this thing is a monster. It grows every day. I'm on. I try to be on Spotify a lot, and then you go on Facebook. I get a lot of views on Facebook, and then YouTube. I'm trying to build the YouTube and the Twitch. Yep. It's like you got to learn every one of these things. Really and then you were talking to me about Instagram, and then we were talking about TikTok, and it's like there's so many, and it's like you got to almost be an expert at every one of them to get out there.
Yep.
And we do
practice.
Yeah, we do the wrestling podcast, which everybody loves that, but I want to get into other different things too. So
it'd be really good. You have a lot of creativity. I know, just speaking with you a lot and just sharing that with everybody else. Just opening up to different things other than wrestling is so good. Just because it expands everything.
Well, everybody has more than one interest.
Definitely.
So all the wrestling fans, they like things too, they're all, and we went to a show up in Chicago. We went to an actual show of the AEW All Out, and the wrestling fans are just so
I've never been to a wrestling match.
Yeah,
before.
they love each other. Like everybody's so cool with each other. And
Really?
like wrestling fans love each other. You know, it's like wrestling fans love wrestling fans. So that's why our show kind of does good, because like there's wrestling fans watching some wrestling fans watch wrestling. It's like, you know, so it's
everybody
like,
just kind of
yeah. And even the people that don't watch wrestling very much, I can bring them in here and we can sit here and watch it and we have fun, like just clowning each other.
Oh,
and,
yes.
you know,
I've seen it on TV, but I've never actually been to a match. And when I watch it on TV, I'm thinking that people are just like booing everybody, but
Yeah.
I didn't know it came from like a place of like everyone just like
they boo, but like it's a boo of like
just depending on your
it's
team.
not a hate boo. You know,
Right,
it's like
right,
it's
right.
like you're booing for the bad guy,
Right.
and you're cheering for the good guy. It's not it's not like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, you go to
Gonna
some of these
kill that man.
yeah, you go some of these football games and these guys get serious and they fight in the audience and
See,
stuff.
that's what I'm thinking about
Yeah.
with wrestling.
No,
but
it's not, because with wrestling, that people are like, it's fake. It's not fake. I mean, the show is predetermined. They
Right.
know who's going to win.
Right.
It's more like they're out there choreographing these moves together and
Right.
making it look like they're fighting with each other.
Okay.
And but like, you know, it's a show. It's almost like a male soap opera kind of.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, guys, you know, watch it and they root for their own guy because we all know it's predetermined.
Yeah.
So
and
it's like,
entertaining.
yeah, it's entertaining. So it's like we don't get mad because it's like that's the whole
That's the
part
whole
about
part
watching
of
is
it.
like we know that the people producing the show knows what's going to happen, but we don't know.
Exactly. So it's just that thrill of just the unknown in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
I totally understand.
So you brought a bunch of sticky notes here. What's all that?
Oh, my sticky notes. I just wanted to make sure I was good to go. It was just kind of my life story, actually. Basically, after
You see, I have no notes. I freestyle everything.
I know that's literally me. Like I usually like to freestyle everything, but I realized like the things that I love, that I want to take seriously. Like, I want to make sure that like I, pour out everything that I, wanted to pour out, because I get distracted so easily.
Yeah.
So if I freestyle, then I'll
go off one thing to the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm getting like with the spirituality, we've talked about that before.
Oh yeah,
And just with that, it's really made me notice my patterns. And the more that I know, the more that I take practice into what I need to do to better,
So we talked,
do.
me and you talked, and we actually had lunch together, and you had just pretty much started your path.
Yeah.
So like, how's it going now?
Oh my gosh. It is like, not gonna lie, dark night of the soul right now.
Oh really?
Yeah, but it's so good to understand that where I'm at, so I can find those opportunities, like, where those opportunities are like, okay, instead of saying like, why is the universe doing this to me?
Yeah.
I'm saying, what can I learn from this? Or
Yeah, how can I change it?
Yeah, what is this trying to teach me? Like, what is the universe trying to send me? Because I've realized through the spirituality or the spiritual journey, basically, it's that like, we're all in like this earth school, and we're all just learning through this, just schooling, like what to do next on whatever path we're going on. And like me realizing everything that I did, prior to who I am now has kind of helped me with everything that I'm dealing with now,
Yeah.
And so just going through the dark night of the soul, it really, really goes deep and inward. You kind of have to be like the hermit almost, like just like by yourself and just have that really like self-care, self-love, because there are going to be some things that you need to shed. But when you shed them, you have to let them come up first and go through it and then shed it.
I think a lot of us don't take time to do that
Not at all.
for yourself. You gotta work on yourself a lot,
Yeah.
and like it's you get so busy with like work, because I have like 2 or 3 jobs, and I have the podcast, and then I'm
So
married,
many distractions,
kids, so many distractions that you don't take care of your own self, and then you look up one day and you're like depressed, you got anxiety, and you're like, I just didn't take care of myself.
Yeah, and that's what October really taught me, that I wasn't taking care of myself in November. Now that I've admitted that, I have so many other deep levels that I didn't even know about myself. So just like, and I didn't realize how much I was distracted on the outside world. Like, how you were saying, just thinking about things externally,
Yeah.
And then when you're getting to yourself, it's like, whoa, like, I didn't even know I was at this place because I was like, or I like was in a depressed, state. And I was like, what is going on? And it was because I wasn't taking care of myself and I was putting everything else first instead of myself.
I put all kinds of things first. Like last night I went home and I left one of these little iPods. I lost one.
Oh.
And it drove me crazy thinking about it all night. And I'm like, just leave that alone.
Yeah.
If you find it, you'll find it. If you
Exactly.
don't, then, the world's not going to end. But like I was worried and worried and worried. And that you can get stuck on one thing and you can't move on past that, you got to be able to like let things go.
Yes. And I think that's what I'm trying to learn is to really let things go because first, it's not a life or death situation.
No.
It's like, it's never a life or death situation. I think people, especially myself, where we get so caught up on just this one thing or this one person that we end up losing ourselves because we're trying to like find or do whatever we think that is right,
Yeah.
So just having the ability to like actually let go, well, like first admit it first off, because admitting is like, okay, this is where I am and this is what I need to let go and this is what I need to do next.
And a lot of people take that and they're not happy with themselves, so they start blaming another person, significant other. You're not doing this for me. You're not doing that for me, and you're doing this and you're doing that. So what they're doing? Yeah, it doesn't really matter what they're doing.
Exactly.
You got to really just live your life and figure out what you're doing.
Of like what when people have that, like, just because I had that victim mindset, and it was just like at the end of the day, I had to take full responsibility of what my part was. Even if something happened with someone else and they're blaming me for it, I have to be like, okay, like take a step back. Like, what was my responsibility in this part? And let them know that you can't control other people, but you can control yourself. Like,
Yeah.
And so once you like change your mindset and instead of saying that like, I'm blaming this person for this, take full responsibility of the whole situation and see what you were doing and what you have to do for yourself.
Exactly.
In order to grow, because like a lot of people are such victims and like they get stuck because they're victims.
They blame everything on other people. I'm not success because of this person did this and this person did. No, you're not a success because you didn't take the steps. Because there's all these, just like, I hate to be cliche, but Nike says just do it. Yeah. Well, you got to do it. Like, I wanted to start a podcast. My son was like, I want to be a comedian. And I was like, well, let's start a podcast. That way you can get your voice out there. You can start talking to the public. And at some point he's going to start being a comedian. I also want to push him towards that. And because that's what you said. We just have to do it.
Exactly. We all have a choice. Yeah. We all have a choice. Like, and that's why I try to that's what I'm really learning about, full responsibility and taking in like whatever part I was in, like, it was my choice to either react, respond, to do, or to not to do, and just go by that. Because once you're really true with yourself and not be in that victim mindset, your mind is more freeing, it feels like. Because you make mistakes, you achieve things, but you did it because of you.
Less stress.
Yes.
Less stress. And stress isn't horrible on you. Like, I'm a victim of stress myself. I stress myself way too much, and I'm trying to figure that out. But all the other stuff that I do in life clouds that. So it's like trying to make money, trying to pay the bills, and then you like, you get to a point where you like, I need to go and just like be by myself.
Yeah.
This summer I went to Fort Lauderdale by myself for 4 days.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, everybody was like planning this trip together, and they were like, and then everybody just bailed out, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna bail out or not. And then I was like, it comes down to it, the trip is coming, and I had the tickets, and I was like, I just went by myself.
Yeah, you just have to do it.
4 days by myself, and I think I'm gonna do that every summer.
Oh my gosh!
I'm gonna go take a 4-day trip by myself, and just.
That's so funny that you said that, because when I started this this whole spiritual journey, I told myself that I was going to take at least 2 or 3 days by myself each month, because we just need that solitude time sometimes to just reevaluate, rethink.
It's meditating. You got to meditate.
Exactly. And I haven't done it yet, but I realized I've only done it twice when I started.
It's hard to do.
And you get so distracted by just everything. Yeah. But when I did do it, I realized how much better I felt.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I filled my cup, because you have to like be on your own to fill your cup first, because you can't go out and be helping everybody if your cup isn't filled.
And then how are you going to learn? Like me with this podcast, how am I going to learn if I'm so busy all the time? How am I going to learn anything to be able to talk about anything? It's like, so I'll take time to myself, and I'll read some stuff, and I'll try to listen to some stuff, and you just have to learn. And I've been lately trying to take like walks by myself.
Yeah.
And, be outside.
A lot of people are really scared to be by themselves. Yeah. And I even kind of noticed my codependent tendencies because of like what happened in my childhood. I just developed that codependent. Like,
it's hard to be by yourself sometimes.
Oh my gosh. And it's so like scary, because like you have this like this invisible fear, this just there. And it's just like, why? Like it's kind of like, why are we so scared to be by ourselves? And I think it's just because we have so much stimulation going on around us that when we lose that, we are sitting with our thoughts, and we don't want to sit with our thoughts.
Even when you're by yourself and you have your phone, you're not by yourself.
You're not by yourself.
No, you're you're with more people, I think.
Yeah, you're connecting with just different energies, different levels, everything. Yeah. And it's a huge
And then when you're trying to spend time with, like, say you're trying to spend a lot of time with your significant other, and you're sitting there on your phone, and then they were like, then you're like, you never spend time with me. You're like, I spent the whole 2 hours with you. And you're like, you was on your phone talking to somebody else or talking to 1,000 other people. Yeah. We didn't spend time together.
You weren't there.
No, you just wasn't there. Yeah. So people get confused with that too. It's just like, just because you're physically there doesn't mean you're like interacting with each other.
Exactly. You're not focused, like, on that, and being in the present, you're somewhere else in the present.
That's why I like doing this interviews, because you get one-on-one.
Yeah.
And you get to talk, and you get to sit and actually talk to somebody.
And
express. And the phone's laying over there. And,
literally. No.
Everybody out there has got their phones watching this video.
Exactly. Yeah. But, I feel like it's just like, it's good and bad, because it's good because you have the control, so you can control anything that you want. But the bad is that you can overdo it, or you're just not in the world at all.
Well, I don't know if you're overdoing it. You just have to take time for yourself. Like, you have to take time for yourself, you know. Like, and people are like, oh, you went and did something by yourself. Like, you was really by yourself? Yeah, I was really by myself. I was taking care of myself.
Yeah, some people are just like, when you're by yourself, they'll be like, what's wrong? I'm like, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I just want to be like, because I don't want to be scared of my thoughts, and I want to get to know myself by myself, because when I'm by myself, that's when everything starts like, okay, this is a good idea. Oh, where's this stemming from? Why do I think of this thought? It's really about analyzing, and you can get it down to what you need to and what you need to overcome, or what you think of, and just with being alone.
There's people out there that need people to tell them what to do. Like, they can't make their own decisions. And that's because they are a lack of being by themselves. Yeah. Because, you have that other person be like to run things across. And it's like, no, you really need to learn how to make your own decisions in life.
Exactly.
Because, that other person might not be there. And what's going to happen if, like, that person, something happens to that other person, then you're screwed, because you just depended on that other person so much.
Yep, codependency is it's very much a it's not a negative thing, but it's something that you have to overcome, or you'll lose your mind because of it, because you're always depending on somebody else, and you always kind of have that victim mindset, because you're depending on that person.
You get to a point where, what are they doing? What are they doing? Are they with somebody else? Are they talking to somebody else? Are they doing somebody else? And you're like, what does it matter? Yeah. It doesn't matter.
I think just codependency.
As long as, like, you're with me when you're with me, then that's cool, Yeah. Then the relationships are crazy anyway, so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's just like something that everyone just has to overcome when it comes to, like, being dependent on someone, and just really being alone, because that's something that a lot of people, that they can't do that. Even with their, like, as you said, like, when they're on their phone, they're not alone. They're still
they're not alone.
Stimulating something,
So put your phone in your pocket.
Yeah.
and take you a walk.
Exactly.
Or
do something that's natural.
Yeah, go read a book or be outside. Like try to be outside a little bit because lately I've been trying to be outside and I'll go for a walk at the Arboretum or Legacy Trail. There's so many nice places to walk in Lexington.
Yeah,
like
there's
12 miles of Legacy Trail to go and walk. Like there's 12 miles of it, and then you got the Arboretum, which is like I don't know how many miles that is, but you can get out there and just kind of just be out
and just kind of just focus on your well-being. Like I feel like if people didn't
feel the breeze on your skin.
Yeah, like if people didn't just come from a place of just like the world, hates me. I have to depend on this person. I have to do this. I have to do that. This is how it's supposed to be. If people are coming from that to like, let me go on a walk or let me go on, let me do this thing for myself, let me take this time for myself, like just be by myself and everything like that. Life will feel more beautiful because you're figuring everything out on your own. And when you need help, that's totally fine. And then like you just come back again, like, cause we're all here to connect, but we're not all here to depend on each other. This is two different things, And like when you have that real connection, it's even more beautiful because you didn't need it. It's just something that you kind of like, oh, let me just do this and then appreciate it rather than being like kind of like a negative aspect, like why did, victim blaming and stuff like that.
And you got to let people be themselves because, and their kids and your kids, it's like once they get to a certain age, you got to let them make their own decisions and make their own mistakes and be their own person because like you can't like live their life for them. Exactly. And then, if you're making their decisions for them, then they're going to always look to you to make your decisions and their decisions for them.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. That was one thing I'm still overcoming.
I know you was real close with your mom when you was growing up.
Yeah, my childhood was very like external matters. Like it was never internal. You didn't really go by your feelings, anything like that. So when I got into adulthood, I was so lost. Yeah. Because I was like, what do I feel? I don't even know what I feel because I've been on somebody else's bandwagon for so long. Yeah. And I didn't realize that. Like, and that's how a lot of our patterns and a lot of our things that we do, like our reactions are, it's coming and stemming from childhood. Like, and that's what the thing that I'm working on right now because I'm figuring out how to be myself because I wasn't myself when I was younger. Yeah. I was just somebody else.
Somebody just telling you what to do all the time.
Yeah, just to survive. Because, when you grow up and you're all the way up to you're 7, you're already programmed to a certain thing, certain beliefs, certain tradition, anything, everything. But then once you kind of step out into the world and you go to different schools, do different events, all this stuff, you're attracted by what and then once you go into adulthood, you don't have that survival mode anymore, but where you've learned that so long, then it's just like, hold on, wait, like, am I like, that's why people feel so lost because, they're more freeing. They're not really controlled by their parents anymore, So when they start reacting to different things and attracting different things, it's a mirror, like it's a mirror of who you are. And the universe is trying to, give you hints like, hey, like this is something that we need to fix because you didn't have that ability to fix it when you were a child, but you do have the ability to create it now. And that's what I have to learn, like really just being myself, like, because a lot of people don't know how to do that. And that's why they feel so lost because, their childhood was so different from
controlled.
Yeah. From what they're trying to be now.
Yeah. That's why when I was growing up, my dad he just like threw jewels at me. He didn't like tell me what to do, control me. He's like, you got to go to school. You got to do this and do that. But here's this little information. Here's this little information. Here's this little, and take it. Not telling you what to do, just take it and see if that's what you want. Right. And see if that's what you want. My dad never tried to control anything that I try to do. And I try to do that with my kids. I'm like, I'm trying to control. And then,
because it really shows in adulthood. Like, it really shows in adulthood. Everything that you attract, everything that you do, everything that you say, it's coming from an autopilot place. It's not coming from a place of love, like from yourself,
So when my son, he turned 18 and he graduated high school, and we had a rough time with that. But he graduated high school. And then after that, he was like, my relationship with him changed. I was like, you're an adult, you're having a kid, you got your own house, you got a job, and I throw like knowledge at him instead of like telling him what to do. And he's like, oh, he's like, when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, I thought you was an asshole, because you just yelled at me and hollered at me. But then as soon as I turned 18 and I graduated high school, you turned into somebody different. I was like, well, I was your parent then, and I had to like discipline you and say that now, but like you're an adult now. You're
right, and you're creating your own story.
And I want to be like there, and I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't want to go see Pops because he's telling me what to do all the time.
Right.
I'm like, I'm going to throw these jewels at you. Here's a little bit of knowledge, and y'all know where I'm at. If you need the knowledge, I'm not going to interfere in your life. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you how to raise your kid.
Right.
But
no,
if you want my knowledge, I'm going to come and come to me and I'll tell you what I know.
Yes. I think it's so important for for adults to notice and understand that even though, what happened in childhood, everybody's trying their best at their ability. Everybody's trying their best, attempting whatever they're doing, in the past, that was their best. Yeah. And you can't really let that stop you from what's now, because you can always change what's now.
Yeah, because when you were doing something as a child, you was still learning, so you're making mistakes. So a lot of adults are hung up on what they did.
Exactly.
They screwed up when they was a child. They did this and that, and they have and then a lot of people
just trying to figure it out like everyone else.
Yeah, and you're learning, and a lot of people screw up as adults, and they can't get over that that hurdle of I had a really good job and I got fired from it, and now it's 10 years later and I haven't got over that, and I haven't done anything since.
Yeah.
I know people like that, that they haven't done anything, and I always try to move on from one thing to another and try to add on, and
moving on is
there was one point in my life I was doing 4 or 5 jobs, and it was I was staying so busy, and I was trying to be a dad and a husband and all that too, and you trying to juggle it. It's you have to get all these experiences, so you can learn life and teach other people.
No, I completely understand that. I definitely agree that a lot of adults get different experiences and everything, and then also trying to take care of their kids. It's a lot,
It's a whole lot.
Yeah. So just every adults just trying to figure it out. That's why I just try to kind of forgive myself. And then also forgive my parents, because they were just trying their best, because, they had a lot of stuff going on. And my mom had me when she was 17. Yeah. So I know she was trying the best as she could,
She's a very spiritual person too, right?
Yeah. She's a Christian, and she did have a church. She's more online now since COVID and everything happened. And so, but yeah, I just, I really try to take everything that I think that's true, and then whatever is not true, I just leave it behind. Exactly. And then I also just try to understand, because you can't really change the past, and if you dwell on the past, it's literally going to eat you up.
I try to take a little jewels from every Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism.
That's how my spirituality
Confucianism.
started.
I just kind of start
just taking it all.
Somebody will throw something at me and I'll go read this part, and then I'm like, oh, cool, and then then I read something else, and then I'll be like, what did the Islam guys say? What did the Jews say? It's
so interesting to know and
everybody.
To understand.
Yeah, a lot of the stories are very similar.
Mm-hmm. They are similar, and I think a lot of people don't know that, because they're some people are just really into their religion, and they don't want to look outside of anybody else's. But when you're more spiritual, you get that freedom to open up to different things.
Yeah. I was always like that as a kid. I was I would have friends that just listened to rap music, or just listen to heavy metal music, or just I listen to everything, I'm jazz from this to that. So that's kind of where I'm at. It was when spirituality came and religion came, I was there's different religions. Okay. So let me read a little bit of this. Let me read a little bit of that. And I'll put all my stuff together.
And you realize that a lot of it is so similar. All of it is leading to finding a higher power. all of it's leading to different stories on, how they find the higher power, what
Yeah.
did they do, what the principles were. They're all kind of just
The same.
intertwined and connected.
They're all they got the same point. Like they all want everybody to do good and don't sin. And our Spotify stopped.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it only records like 30 minutes at a time.
Oh, yeah, you have to start it again. Yeah, but oh, my life is still great. I think one joined. Hello. But yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. Like, and I totally agree. Like, it's all intertwined. Like, I think that the more people try to understand each other instead of throwing their beliefs at them and reacting, the world could be so much more loving.
Yeah, it's like, okay, the Bible said this. Okay, that's cool. But like then they're like, oh, if you read the Quran or anything else, then you're bad. It's like, no, you can read that and read this and read that. You can read anything you want. Like you can be whatever you want to be.
We all have free will.
You can be Christian and Jewish and Muslim all in one. So
and
Buddhism.
I think a lot of people stem from supposed to be and just expectations in general.
Yeah.
That they kind of forget that like other people have their own beliefs and they stem from something else. And I think if people just come from a place of understanding rather than expectations, then it'd be so much easier. Like life would feel so much easier to let go of just expectations, because that's what really eats everyone up, because they have to feel like if they allow somebody to tell them about something else that's different from their belief, it's so bad, or it's oh, I'm not gonna let this person tell me what I believe in and blah blah blah. But that person's not telling you what you
and then it's like if you go down this one path, say you were going Christian, and they were like Christian, like say for instance, oh, Christians wear red shoes, and then someday you're wearing red shoes all the time, and then you figure out that the guy down the street's wearing blue shoes. And you're like, what the hell? I wanted some blue shoes.
Right.
It's and then you're like, you're pissed off at the person that was teaching you that there was only red shoes. And when you really wanted to wear the blue shoes too. And then you find out there's yellow shoes and then there's orange shoes. And then you're like, I want to wear all these shoes. And then you're like, I'm pissed off at that person because you didn't share the whole world with me. You only shared one path.
Yeah, and then you have that resentment.
Then resentment.
Yeah, you're like, should I get the blue shoes or should I try the yellow shoes? Like you're so stuck upon you're so stuck upon
And when we've talked before, I thought that you've had some of that resentment.
Oh, definitely. Like when I started my spiritual journey last November to just get familiar with everything that I didn't know, I was so shook with everyone that
blown away with stuff that you didn't know.
Never knew.
Yeah.
Never knew. And it's so crazy because I wasn't really listening to myself, but I was listening to myself, but not fully. But I was glad that the little hints that my intuition was giving me, it was something that opened my eyes up just so much, to so much expansion and just so much growth, because it really I did come from a Christian family, and there's nothing wrong to be Christian, but there's also nothing wrong to step out of the box and step out of something new, step on not wear the red shoes anymore, go on to
there's other philosophies in life.
And I got the whole rainbow now.
Exactly. So, and you get to choose.
Exactly.
There's so much knowledge out there in the world that. Why just take one path?
Exactly.
There's all kinds of forks in a path.
And change is inevitable. So why resist it? If something's telling you to go look something up or do this, why not? Who's going to stop you? And it's just it's people stop because they have that they have their mind, and the mind is very powerful, and they have their ego, that's what they know.
The ego is crazy.
Yeah. And so when you are just well, I have these red shoes, they've been kind of good to me for a while, it's all I've been knowing.
Yeah. But them blue shoes look comfortable.
Yeah. And it's just what should I do? And it's just, you're kind of in the middle, because you only know what you know. And then you want to learn more, but what you know is what's right, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And it's just what should I do? And that's where the resentment comes in. And like once you resist, so many more problems come in the way, so many more circumstances that was unnecessary comes because you resent, like you had that resentment towards what your soul was trying to tell you.
Your focus was clouded because you had resentment, and you wanted revenge. Then you wanted revenge because it's like, and it's just like it leads to a path of darkness, you know, and you don't want to go down the path of darkness.
Yeah, like it is
so easy to get down that path.
It really is. And like if you're going, because there's nothing. I definitely believe there is there's not any good or bad. I think it's just all natural, everything.
Yeah, perception.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, like, you know, if people go in a dark place, that is okay. You know, you went there for a reason.
Yeah.
But the problem comes when you can't get out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So really embrace the darkness. But, you know, once you are, you know, embracing it, admitting it, and knowing what to do next to get out of that darkness, get out of the darkness. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always going to be dark and light. We're always going to like have contrast in the situation. It's just about overcoming it in a way. And I think being more open helps, because if you're stuck in one way and there's these certain beliefs that you have to believe in, or that you think you believe in, or you know that you believe in,
they become rules.
They become rules. Yeah. They do. And it's so hard to break out of that, because, you know, more problems will come with that, because you're not trying to overcome it like in any kind of way. You're only like in a certain box. And like being in that box, it's hard to get out of. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Because then you try to get out of that box, and then you go back to your old ways, and then you're like, you look up and you're like, I'm doing the same shit I was doing.
Yeah, you get out of the box,
I don't like.
You walk back to the box, and you're like, man,
like I don't like acting that way. I don't being that certain person, like in trying to, you know, manipulate somebody to do something for you, or do something with you or something, and
just
and
because
you're
they
like,
believe it.
Yeah, and then you're like, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, and that's how I felt with just being in one religion. I didn't want to do it. I felt like it was too boxed in for me. Like a lot of stuff didn't make sense. Yeah. I didn't get any of my answers or questions answered in the religion that I was in. You couldn't ask why. Yeah. In which I think why is the most powerful question you can ask about anything.
Yeah. Why can't you ask why about everything?
Yes, and it's so crazy, because I don't know if it was just me or the Black community itself, but when I used to ask my parents why this happened or why that happened, you couldn't question it. It wasn't allowed. Yeah. And it was just like, why?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Like, why can I not ask why?
Yeah, and it's just like, because when you ask why, it's a place of understanding. It's a place of coming from, I don't understand this, so how can I understand it better?
And then you get to thinking, well, if I can't ask why, then why can't I ask why? This must be bullshit.
Yeah, and you
because if there's not a reason,
why, you know, and it's just like, growing up, I didn't realize how important that question is, because
if you stop asking why, then the person teaching, if you're not allowed to ask why, then they don't know why, and they can't teach it. They can't teach the why. So then it eventually gets lost.
Yeah, and
like so many generations.
It's just like a ripple effect.
Yeah,
and it's just like more of like, you know, you're just doing it because I said so, rather than you're doing it because this is the purpose of doing it.
I think all the like the books of the Bible and the books of the Quran and all the other religious, I think they're there for you to interpret it the way you need to interpret it for what you're going through.
Definitely. That day. I think that it's like really good to, and that's why it's so good to listen to yourself, because when you read those types of books, it's coming from you and your point of view. You know, it's not coming from someone, you know, telling you what this is. Like, yeah, you can tell what it is, but you have to interpret that in your own words, because that's what's going to work for your system. And I think that's why some people just, you know, stick with like what religions they are. Because if it works out for them, it does work out for them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
totally agree with that. But if it's not working out with you and you're making yourself sacrifice because somebody else believes it,
Exactly.
that's when it's something to be like, okay, what's going to help me out here? Because that's how I felt with spirituality. And not everybody's going to feel like that with, being a Christian. A lot of Christians love their religion.
Yeah, they might just take it and go with it.
Yeah, and it's all about your intention.
But there's people like us that are outside the box to be like, and
there's
other boxes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like, I think that's just such like the thing that we come into, like when we come into life, when we reincarnate, it's like we kind of forget that, like, everybody else has their own thing, you know what I'm saying? And like, we have to really hone in and just really think about what's good for us, because what's good for us is going to lead us to our own abundance. What's good for us is going to lead us to what we wanted to know. You know what I'm saying? So if that person's Christian or that person's Muslim, let them be on their own journey,
Yeah,
and if it doesn't,
that's what they're supposed to be on now.
Exactly. And if it doesn't work out for them, let's hope and pray that they get out of something so they can learn what they need to learn or find the answers that they need to. They don't have to be stuck in one religion just because someone else said so, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of it, because like we have free will, we have our choices, and we have just different intentions. And I think the more that we think about our intentions, the more that we can get more clear of what we want and what we need for ourselves.
Yeah.
So I definitely,
we're all individuals.
Definitely. I love spirituality. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like,
I watch your little stories all the time on Facebook. I don't think I have you on Instagram, but I guess I don't get on Instagram very much. I probably do have you on Instagram. I just don't get on there very much. I'm so busy with Facebook and YouTube and stuff. But I listen every time I see you on there talking about something. I listen to it because it's like, it's just it's a cool like thing to watch you develop into, what you're gonna develop into. Like, it's like, oh, she's got a little journey on there, and I'm a fan of that journey. I want to watch what she's doing.
I appreciate that so much, because a lot of people that I'm around, like, just like family-wise, they don't understand. They support it, but they don't understand. So having people that can understand it and support as well is so helpful for me. Like, especially when I go through hard times, because I feel like I'm going through this alone. Like, I am going through it alone, but I have.
Well, I'm sure I'm not the only fan you have.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little small fans, like, so, and hopefully I can just, expand, because I feel like a lot of my journey resonates with a lot of other people's journeys, especially the like younger ones. Like, they are so lost.
Yeah,
and
with this information highway and stuff that we're living in now, the information's all out there. Like, when I was growing up, you only had probably access to the Bible.
Right.
I didn't even know about the Quran, and
you didn't know about, you only knew what you knew.
I only knew what I do. Hell, I didn't even know there was an Old Testament.
Yeah.
I just knew there was the New Testament, the King James version.
Right.
And then, like, the internet now, people get like,
So many people have so many opportunities to find those types of resources for them.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of created my journey, because I find so many resources online. I just pour them into like other people. I like text my friends all the time, different podcasts. I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, like, watch this. This is like so good. Like,
I want to be in that. I want to be in that little group.
Definitely.
Text them to me.
I will. Like, I love sending different podcasts to people, just because it resonates, and it helps you change what you want to change. Like, I always
want to hear somebody's different perspective on life and what their journey is.
I love it.
And what they've learned, and their advice on, because people learn things and they found these jewels that you're like, oh yeah, that works for me too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I just made the whole journey, because I did.
There's a big fat eclipse coming up.
Oh yeah, it's on the 19th.
Yeah, a big
in Taurus.
Yeah, it's gonna be the longest eclipse ever, I think.
It's gonna last for like 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's going to be some really dark energies, and that's why I try to tell people, like, it's okay to have dark energy. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's just all about getting out of it, like, and just sifting and sorting. That's all we have to do: sift, sort, figure it out.
Yeah.
And
Because I live by the yin and the yang, the white and the dark. It's like the good and the bad, the feminine and the male. So it's like I'm a Libra, so it's the balance.
Same. Yeah, it's really hard to balance. I try to take in the black and white and then add some little sparkle of colors and artistic
Oh yeah,
things.
yeah. Well, everything. Yeah.
And I just think it's just honestly your perception, and everything comes from the mind and how you perceive things. Whatever you perceive, you're going to project. And that's how you really look at your journey. If whatever is going on right now is your perception, it's the things that you end up perceiving, that's going to be your projection. So whatever you're projecting right now, if you don't like it, you can always change it. That's the whole thing of free will. And just having that having that mindset of like what you think life is or what you see yourself as, you're projecting it right now, and that's
you ask the world, you ask the universe for what you want.
Exactly.
Just ask and
And law of attraction, it does not believe in about bad or good.
Yeah.
It believes on what you're thinking and what you're manifesting.
Don't think no bad shit because it'll happen to you.
Yes, that's what, with the dark energies, you have to go in and do a lot of self-care, a lot of self-love. And I think I had an anxiety attack yesterday. And I realized how much toxic things that I had or that I allowed myself to have around me. And I realized, like, this stops today. Like, I have to stop that. No one else is going to stop that. No one else knows what I'm thinking or what's going on with me. Yeah. So I have to take full responsibility of my part of allowing it in. And then I have to release it, let it go, and start something that's, good for me. Yeah. And I realized that, it's because there's a lot of dark energy right now. So not only with the dark energy is not here to, say that you're bad and all this stuff. The dark energy is to hone in on what you truly need to let go of and what opportunities you can make for yourself. Yeah. And I had to realize that anxiety attack was awful, yes, but it taught me so much. I needed to work on myself. I need to heal my relationships, and I just need to do me, Yeah. And I think that's just like what a lot of people.
And then people think, oh, she's so selfish because she's just doing her. She's just doing her. Well, that's not selfish. It's like, how can I help you if I'm not helping myself?
Exactly.
If I get lost in myself, then I'm not going to be able to think right or help you, or I'm just going to be in this confused, depressed, anxious place. And anxiety attacks are real.
Yeah.
I mean, I was having like a small one before we started this. It wasn't, I don't even understand why, but I did.
It just happens.
Yeah.
You kind of just have to take it in. You have to kind of embrace the feeling to understand where it's coming from. And then just kind of have, just call in on your angels, do whatever you need to do that helps you. Yeah. And just, let it embrace and then let it go through and then release it. Yeah. A lot of people try to cover it with toxic positivity.
Or toxic people,
just being around that.
Yeah.
And it really makes it 10 times worse because, like, you're not allowing yourself to feel how you feel and then letting it go. You're trying to cover it up with something. You're trying to suppress it. And that's what makes it bigger for whenever you have the next anxiety attack,
Yeah.
So really going through and embracing how you feel and feel whatever you need to feel. Cry
don't
out.
Fake it.
Yeah, don't fake it. Like, go to, I'm starting to do boxing again because it's, oh my gosh, it's such a good, just release. And just, just feel that out and then release it, let that, go, whatever you have to do, cry, scream in your pillow. It's not bad. It's just something that we all need, You
gotta release. Do something do something physical. Go for a walk. I do Tai Chi and and go for walks and just
do what
do
you
laundry.
Need to do. Yeah,
sometimes I just clean, do laundry.
Yeah, do the dishes. Just kind of visualize the
Laundry is
dirt and
kind of a
everything.
meditative thing. If you're going down there and you're folding laundry and you're like just in your own space, because like the laundry room, nobody really wants to come in there.
Right.
So
yeah.
I hang out at the laundry room a lot.
Right. No one wants to go there.
Yeah, nobody wants to go in the laundry room because there's so much work in there. But
Yes.
like sometimes your work is it's a meditative thing. Like especially just a physical work. Like I work at UPS and everybody knows that, and I'll go in there and I just zone out everybody else, do my job, be safe, and just be physical.
Yeah.
Just be physical, and
just do whatever kind of makes you feel good. If you think that painting is a really good way to, release that, then do that. Like if you think laundry is really good to do that, release that within your laundry. Like, cleanse your house, cleanse, your body, put intention to it, because that intention will actually help you. And, our brains or our minds they can't tell the difference between like real and fake. That's why, sometimes you see like little videos on Facebook or Instagram and like a ball's thrown at you, or like, a snake like is popping out and you flinch because your mind thinks it's real, but it's not. Yeah. So when you really like visualize like, that, pain going away, or just like that steam, like just coming out of you, or let's say you are taking a shower and you have that intention to really pure and just cleanse yourself, and you just imagine like, all the drainage going out, that's going to help your mind, because your mind's thinking that's real. So it's going to help you, get everything out and, stuff like that. So really like visualization is really good. Setting your intentions on what
I do that a
do.
lot, because like I do Tai Chi, and I do a lot of it inside my own brain. Yep. I don't do as much physically as I do it in my head.
Exactly.
So like the moves and stuff. So so visualizing things is very important.
Definitely. It's really helped my journey. And also, have you heard of binaural beats? Mm-mm. Okay, so cool. It's on YouTube. Okay. I have about 8 hours of it, sometimes 2, sometimes it really depends. But you can look up different binaural beats, and basically these are waves, frequency waves. Okay. That once you listen to it, 10 minutes or so. Some are faster than others, but I think the base is 10 minutes. After you listen to it, your frequency in your mind is going to match that frequency. Okay. So let's say you're doing a theta wave, and theta waves are something that you can connect with your higher self. Sometimes you'll get flashes or something that it comes. And that frequency is all about healing. Okay. So you'll listen to it about 20, 30 minutes, and it can help you heal. I was sick yesterday, so I used to listen to a binaural beat while I was taking a nap. I had like earphones like these on, and it's best to do it with earphones. Yeah. And I took like a 2-hour nap, and I had so much drainage. So I ended up listening to a theta wave, because, your body matches your mind. Yeah. And, my mind was going crazy yesterday. It was going bonkers. Yeah. So, I listened to that and to the healing sound for about 2 hours. I took them off. Once I did, all the drainage was gone. The only thing that was really hurting was my back, because from everything going on. Yeah. But all the drainage was gone. I felt better, and it really, really helps, because those frequencies are really coming in to send messages for your body. Yeah. And so
that makes sense if your body understands that your mind is going wild and crazy. It's like, oh shit, something. Your body's gonna go wild, because something's going on here. Exactly. The brain is having a fit, dude. We might gotta go into chaos mode here.
Yeah, you don't just get sick because of the weather and everything like that. That plays a part into it, but also everything's so connected that when you get sick, it's something that's going on with inside of you.
And it makes sense if your brain isn't working right and you're not on the right path, and you're not thinking straight, then your body's not gonna, your brain's not gonna send your body the signals it needs.
Yeah, because it's too focused on something else. Yeah. Your mind, your body, and soul are all kind of connected. So when you feel a pain in your back or in your shoulders, that has to do with responsibility. Yeah. If you feel something in your chest, that has to do with your emotions, your heart, what you need to release. Your body speaks to you. So if you have those different types of wounds, you're gonna see what you need to do next for that, place of that feels hurt. Yeah. So and that's why it's so good to know your chakras, because if one thing, let's say if your third eye chakra is really like, pounding that day. You have to kind of ask yourself what's going on, what's wrong. Sometimes it's something, and sometimes you're having an awakening. You don't even know. So you have to really, really know your body. But binaural beats are really, really good for healing. They even have one for sleeping if you want to listen to it while you sleep.
Yeah.
They have isotonic tones, which is like you can listen without earphones. So there's a lot out there on YouTube. Many resources.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, we're getting close to an hour.
Oh, okay. Anything you want to ask before we wrap up?
Just is there anything that you want to add? I mean, we can do this again at some point.
Definitely again. I'd love to do it again. If you guys don't know me again, my name is Tionna Sanders. I'm a model. I dabble in the arts. I just more freeing mind. My Instagram is EnergyBird222, and I also did a modeling collab with the beautiful Melissa and Emily, and they are also on my Instagram as well if you guys wanted to contact them for photography or makeup. And my Facebook is just Tionna Sanders, and I really appreciate you, Andy, for letting me
I appreciate you coming on because I mean we've been talking about doing this for a while.
Oh yeah, for so long, and this actually really inspired me to do my podcast in January, and I'm doing another project too. I'm gonna try to start doing some free family sessions and just really talk about the mind and how the process works and
sounds
how it
good.
Can really recreate your mind. So.
Yeah, I mean, I need help with my mind sometimes. so I appreciate you coming on, and like I'm saying, I'm a big fan. I can't wait to your podcast. Like, I want to help you be involved in that. So
I appreciate that.
So,
talk about it.
I got the equipment, so I'm not always using it.
Right, yeah, I could always come down, and I mean, you have like the legit set. Like when I did my first podcast, I'm telling you, like I had like my little Apple laptop, and then I had like my little microphone. Like that's all I had. So this is like the real deal here. It's really awesome.
Well, we try. We have fun with it. So and you guys know me. I'm Nice Guy Andy. We usually do the wrestling shows and the podcast with the pay-per-views, and this is my little side thing of the interviews with people, and. We had a very entertaining guest tonight, and if anybody wants to play the Royal, the sponsor is Royal Dark. We're on the Facebook. Just give them a call. Just send them a message, and they'll sign you up, and you can play their games. They give away prizes every day. You can win money, and it's all through Cash App and stuff. So. Give them a shout out, and they stay open till they open at 10 Eastern time. They close at 4 a.m. Eastern time, so that wherever you're at, if you're Central Mountain, you can do the math yourself. So make sure you know where you're at, because like a lot of people don't know where their time zone is. I met a guy the other day, and he was like, "I'm in Mississippi, and you said you closed at 4," and I'm like, "Dude, you're in Central time zone."
Right.
He's like, "Oh, Elma, yeah." So we close at 3 then. So, but give our sponsor a shout out and check out her podcast. And I think we're going to get off here. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Yeah, we'll do this again. Is there anything you want to say again? Anything else?
No, everything that was said was said. So I appreciate it.
All righty. Bye-bye.